Ever since the beginning of the restoration of Gregorian chant in the middle of the 19th century, the subject of rhythm has been a subject of continual controversy, producing many different theories. But only one has ever really come to global dominance, and its popularity in practice remained to this day, albeit with continued controversy, and that is the method of Solesmes, as formed and taught by Dom Mocquereau and his successor, Dom Guéjard, in the early 20th century. However, around the 1960s and 70s, due to further musicological discoveries, it was claimed by many that this was also a false theory, resulting in yet another new theory on Gregorian rhythm, or perhaps the lack thereof. But before delving into the question of rhythm itself, let's step back for a moment and take a look at the historical development of some of the most prominent theories on rhythm. At the beginning of the restoration of chant in the middle of the 1800s, one popular theory was that known as mensuralism. Now, this theory had been around for many centuries, and it usually taught that every note has a specific time value, and these notes are grouped together into measures of regularly recurring beats, resulting in a time signature such as 3/4 or 4/4. However, this theory was fairly quickly proven to be false in regard to the chant. The next main theory was known as free speech rhythm, and this came about partly due to Dom Guéranger's revivement of monastic life at the then priory of Solesmes. As Dom Guéjard would testify later, until the Gregorian melodies could be adequately restored, Dom Guéranger, with the help of reading and observation, thought and discussion, good taste, and help from heaven, he managed to give his monks' singing a natural flowing pace and unaffected spontaneity that would very soon charm all those who came to the monastery. A friend of the priory, Canon Gontier, a priest of the diocese of Le Mans, with the help of Guéranger, described their teaching at the time, in 1859, as such, quote, "A modulated recitation in which the notes have an undefined time value, and in which the rhythm, which is essentially free, is that of speech." He goes on to say that the rule which stands out above all others is that, pure melody aside, the chant should be an intelligent, well-accentuated, well-phrased reading in which the laws of quantity are observed. End quote. 20 years later, Dom Potier, then head of chant studies at Solesmes, essentially confirmed and further developed this theory in his own work, La Mélodie Gregorienne, which met with huge success despite its vagueness and lack of a clear definition of rhythm. But it was precisely this vagueness and lack of clarity and precision which drove his successor, Dom André Mocquereau, to establish the paleographie musicale, musical paleography, that great laboratory of chant study and publication at Solesmes. And it is here that Mocquereau applied himself to an astonishingly rigorous study for many, many years. The fruit of all this study and prayer was his mammoth work, Le nombre musical grégorien, the Gregorian musical number, or rhythm, published in 2 volumes. The first volume, translated into English, is around 450 pages. The second volume, around 850 pages, still unfortunately remains untranslated. In contrast to the previous theory of free speech rhythm, this new theory of Mocquereau's was a free musical rhythm. And it is this theory which will form the basis and main focus of our study on Gregorian rhythm, and for 2 reasons. First, because it is this theory which has stood the test of time and which is still very much in use today. Second, because the predominant alternative theory on Gregorian rhythm is that of semiology, which, like the theory of free speech rhythm, lacks any clear definition of rhythm, and therefore there's not a whole lot to be said. But in order to have any kind of adequate discussion on the subject of rhythm, we first need to ask the question, what is rhythm? What is it in its very nature and essence? And the answer to that will be in our next video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe, and share it with others. And don't forget, sing praises wisely.